Hello and welcome to Kismet Rising. So I firstly wanted to say thank you to all of you who are still subscribed to me, as well as all of those of you who watch these videos every month that I post them out, the 100 or so of you. And a big thanks to those of you who comment on my videos. I really appreciate that. I also want to say that I'm really sorry that I haven't been able to post as when I began this channel. And that all I could do in the last years was just one video per month. I have restructured my schedule and I do have more time available. And so hopefully in the next months, I could come into a rhythm where I can upload more videos and not just make promises of it, but actually upload some videos. So look out for that. It's something that I've been trying to create for a while now. And I'm really pleased that I've finally done it. And I also want to just say a big thank you to all of the clients who've come to me from this channel. I really appreciate all of you. And thank you so much for your patronage. Okay, so this month, September 2025, we are using the Earth Warriors Oracle by Alana Fairchild. It reads here, the rise of the soul tribe of sacred guardians and inspired visionaries. So go ahead and choose option 1, 2, or 3, or if you'd like, listen to all of them. And let's go into the video. So for those of you who've chosen option number 1, we're asking, what do we need to know for the month of September 2025? Okay, so for those of you who've chosen the option number 1, I've laid out 4 cards for the 4 weeks of September. And the first card that comes up for the first week of September is the number 31, Elhaz. And it reads, Divine Might Foretold. And I think here the card is basically asking you to stand in your integrity, regardless of what waves of stresses and astrological influences may be passing through you or maybe challenging you at this time, and whatever else is coming forth in the future. You are asked to stand in integrity and to be authentic to yourself. You are asked to do what is right by you. You are asked to simply be yourself given a certain circumstance. And I feel here that in the first week in the month of September, as has been August and a bit of July, is all working towards preparing us for the eclipse that's taking place in October this year. And part of this here, this elk, is saying to you, well, there will be rewards if you are willing to stand by yourself, if you are willing to be honest with yourself regarding what you need from your life and what you're willing to accept and what you're willing to tolerate. Yeah, what are your boundaries? What are you actually allowing in your life? I think that learning to be your authentic self and allow yourself, give yourself permission to do that, to act as you feel fit, is in a way that is fair to others as well, is actually really important as we come to later on in this year. And I think that it requires you're required to actually work with that element of yourself. I just want to read a little bit from the book here. And it says, I'm not going to read all of it. I'm just going to read bits of it. It says, don't let yourself down with behavior or attitudes that are unworthy of you. You have divinity within you and the right to be in the world with dignity, grace, and integrity. Whether in a small matter of apparent insignificance to anyone other than yourself, or in big matters where you feel your soul and perhaps the souls of others are on the line, integrity will be your saving grace. It also talks about in the Norse tradition, the qualities of personal luck, grace, power, and the energy and ability to succeed are known as Haminja or Haminja, I'm not sure. This oracle foretells an increase in your Haminja or Haminja, I apologize, and in your capacity to impart your spiritual energy into your communities. This puts you in a position of increasing power and influence, which your integrity will help you express wisely. In my opinion, it says, act within your rights and in a fair manner, but with integrity, and be true to yourself, and others will watch this and will be inspired by that to do the same. But also when you do that, there can only be abundance and prosperity that comes your way because you are with an integrity within yourself. You are in that integrity and you aren't leaving any allowances for anything else to step on your path, okay? There's just something else that I noted here. It said, elk wisdom will at some stage bring us into a testing period during which we will feel challenged. We may question or be questioned as to whether we are being realistic or we should just adopt the same lower frequency approach as most others seem to do. In your heart, however, you know that the moment you do this, you would lose yourself. As we pass through this initiation of elk wisdom, we will get to a place where, without any loss of passion for the healing outcome we desire, we realize that if we were willing to sell our soul to obtain results, then we have lost, not won. So I think that actually, I'm not sure if that resonates with you, but for me, the energy that comes up for you for the first week of September is very much about saying that this is an integral part for you to decide you choosing yourself. You are deciding for you, and only good can come from that. Only wonderful things aligned to your soul and your purpose can come to you if you stare at whatever you're being given with integrity and with honesty and with truth. Okay, so I think that as we come into the first week of September, you are going to be given the opportunity for you to act within your authenticity and be brave about it, and you have the opportunity to do that. As we come into the second week of September, the card is number 12, Amawata, and the card is titled Sage of Higher Knowledge. And I think here, as you go into September, you are being given certain downloads of information about how it is that you need to behave with regard to others, how you should be relating to others, and how you should bring yourself into the world. In which way should you do that? I think it's also a moment where you are able to get some wisdom that's being imparted to you from whichever source, and be able to understand things in a slightly different manner that allows you to make changes that you may have not been able to make before. Okay, so you might be dealing with exactly the same thing. However, you've been given a different perspective on it, and you're able to act on it in a different way, in a way that you would not have thought of acting before. All right, and the card for the third week is Kanyini, which is the number 42, and it reads, in each other we find ourselves. Okay, so I think as we look through the weeks here of September, I think actually what we see is that the first week is very much about you and the individual of you. The second week is very much about getting these downloads and these spiritual downloads where you're understanding things from a different perspective. And the third week is about being able to use that in a more concrete manner. I think that's where the test is going to come. I'm not saying that anything negative is going to happen during that time, but I think it's going to be a time where the energy is going to draw you up and bring you face to face with giving you an opportunity to test what has actually happened here, whether you've actually understood what your task is, what your assignment is, and whether you've in fact listened and heard what you've needed to hear, and you've incorporated that in your life. And there's the test. The test is saying, well, yes, I've incorporated that into my life, and I'm actually able to show you that I've done that, taking into account all that you need to take into account. And if you look into this card here, you will see that you have the wisdom of the animals, the spirit of the animal. You have the wisdom of the ancestors and the sages that have been before, as well as the rebirth that occurs here and all the cycles of the moon. And you have the forest energy and the power of the forest. You have so many different elements here which are asking you, which are supporting you as you come together, and you're able to actually give of yourself and relate to others and be with others with the best version of yourself. And I'm sorry if that sounds really airy-fairy and really out there. I think that what you truly have to do is just be honest with yourself when you're dealing with people with regard to your emotions, your feelings, and how you choose to be with them. And also, don't get emotional about the way in which you need to relate to people. Just be very honest and rational, and try to detach yourself from any kind of emotional output that you may have. Don't get caught in the whirlwind of energetic influences taking place in the third week of September. Rather, use the stoic authenticity that you've developed in the first week of September and the wisdom. I think also the first week of September may be really like kind of a watershed for many of you. It may be a time where you're really coming to terms with what you've been experiencing and what you need to experience. You might be looking back even 30 years, looking at how things may have influenced you back then and how they will continue to influence you now in the future, or how far you've come in the process, and how far you've come in that time, how you've changed, how you've developed over that time. And also here you've been given the skills which you didn't have back then to make decisions that you needed to make. So this year is basically bringing you all of that rawness, where you are faced with yourself and you have the opportunity to then interact with that and deal with it in a slightly different manner than you would have all those times ago, in the previous time that you've been confronted with this. And I say 30 years, but it could be 3 years, it could be another time frame for you. And then we have something here. It's about just being able to take that into yourself and absorb it, and actually accept it. Accept that divine guidance that's coming your way, so that you can actually allow it, believe it. Believe this, what you're being told, so that you can actually embody the gifts that you've been given. Okay. And then here, in this third week, you have the opportunity to try that out and to use it with other people and to engage with other people. And then as we come to the last week of September, the card we have is Mama Kila, Mandala of the Moon, and the number is 35. And I think here, as you come into the last week of September, you actually have an opportunity to just round everything up and to be able to, it's almost like you've written your exam. You've had the lesson, you've had the interaction and more knowledge, and then you've had the lesson. And the last week of September is really being, you're just recalibrating yourself after what's happened in the third week of September, and you are able to assess what you've taken from here and how it's worked for you and where you may need to improve and how you would go forward. So you're looking at how is it that, or what is it that I've learned in September? What are the gifts that have come to me in September? And I feel like September is going to be a long month for you. So just, do some kind of journal or review of the month at the end of it so that you can actually understand the impact of these first 2 weeks and what you want to take forward to you because what you're going to take forward with you into October is going to be the gifts that you need and the talents that you need, or not the talents, but all the resources that you need to be able to deal with the energy that comes up in October as well as November. And if you've done the work now, then October and November is going to be a breeze for you. Okay. And I think that is what Mama Kila says here. I just want to look quickly at the book to see if there's anything else in here that comes up. Okay, I'm just going to read the first bit here. It says, the oracle brings a sign that creative works will reach fulfillment. Relax with trust and positive expectations that all your needs would be met. This makes it easier for abundance to flow and all earthly and spiritual matters to fall into place according to a great and loving higher intelligence. Things are changing, even if you cannot see the physical evidence of this as yet. Trust that your actions are leading you into a better way of life. Okay, so I think that is, that's basically what it is. It's like this kind of culmination of this energy that you've been dealing with. And even though July and August had its own set of challenges and even turbulences, I think, well, for some people, that is, they would, some people would have experienced it as a turbulence. I think that as you come to the end of September, it's a much more contained month. It's got a beginning, a middle, and an end. And you feel like you can contain all of September's energy in September before you move on to October. And it really feels like there's been, that you've produced something from it. You've created something from it. That there is that creative energy around it. I think also in that last week of September, well, generally September, let me just talk generally for a second. Generally, September is a great month for launching new things, for beginning a new kind of to step into something in the media where you're seen. It's also a great month to be able to hunker down and do the work that needs to be done. It's also a fantastic month to work through anything that has been lingering or some things that have begun sometime in March, April that need to have closure. September is the month to do that before you come to October, so that you don't have any nasty surprises in October. Okay. So here, as you have a lot of creative energy and a lot of divine downloads and a lot of strength here and wisdom that can help you to calibrate all of that and also use that to help you overcome something or bring closure to something. So if there's something that you really desperately wanted that began towards the end of last year or the beginning of this year, and then in the last 6 months or so, you heard that you couldn't have it, this is your time to go back in and pour energy around that so that you can actually try, you can prepare that so that in the future, as you go ahead, you create an opportunity for yourself to be able to have that again, because perhaps the time wasn't right now, but the time will be in the future. Okay, and so this is your month, September, to do that work with yourself in order to make your dreams come true. And I really for whatever it is that you've been passionate about, and I really wish for you that you're able to do that. And I wish you a fabulous September. May it be productive, and may you be able to receive these downloads and accept them and walk in your strength and interact with others in a way that is beneficial for you all. Okay, many, many blessings to you all, and I will see you soon. And for those of you who have chosen the option number 2, we are asking, what is your oracle card guidance for September 2025? Okay, and so for those of you who've chosen option number 2, we have the cards for September 2025, and it looks like the energy for you is going to be fairly different from those of you who are chose option number 1. Okay, so the first card we have for the first week of September is Kaitiaki, and it's the guardian of Papatuanuku. Okay, and that's the title of the card. So, and probably the goddess. I haven't read the card meaning, but I'm just going to intuit what this is for you. I think that as you come into the first week of September, and you may have felt this already in this last weekend, so from around the 28th of August, there's this download, this energy of spiritual guidance and information, a wealth of it, a torrent of it actually, just coming down through you and engaging you to remember who you are and what you're here for and what you've experienced and why you've experienced it. It's almost as if there's this information coming down to you to help you remember the reason that you had to go through the things you had to go through in order for you to learn certain things that you are going to be using in the next while, all right? And also just to remind you of how far you've come. But I think that it's really an energy of love and compassion and grace that's coming through you in this next week or so. And you have to actually, in the first week of September, but as I said, from the energy may have begun around the 28th or the 29th of August. And I think that it's really an important time for you to have a lot of compassion for yourself and actually to be there for yourself. Be there for yourself and don't stand in any judgment for any decisions that you may have made that have not had the outcome that you've desired, but rather be there in support and in compassion for you, because the energy that's coming down to you right now, this divine energy or this download, is basically saying it's all fine, you did really well, and actually you are in a state where you are receiving the grace that you need to perhaps forgive yourself or forgive another person, or to overcome whatever heartache, whatever trauma and difficulty that you've experienced in the past. Because something happened in the past, it does not mean that you have to carry it with you for the rest of your life. You are allowed to actually let go of it and release it. it does not mean that the scar will no longer be there, but it won't be center stage in your life. And under any circumstances, being perpetuating a victim complex or being a victim 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, after the fact, is not beneficial to you. You're simply perpetuating into the energy, this victim energy that attracts more opportunities for you to be a victim. So it's important to understand how empowered you are and how much of strength you have and how you're protected from the divine, and how that divine is all around you right now and cleansing you and actually empowering you, and you're able to shine in all your brilliance. Okay, now as we come into the second week of September, I think this is more spiritual than the first week. It's more in your mind, it's more in your emotions, in your spirit world. And as you come into the second week of September, you're going to feel it's more in your body. So you can actually take action that allows you to express this divinity and your spirituality and your essence in the real world. And you may do that by perhaps going on a hike, or going outdoors, going for a swim, or doing something, making something. Perhaps it's something that you do with your hands, or something that where you move yourself in some way. Perhaps you're dancing, or you're hiking, or you're painting. There's something that you're doing that allows the expression of you in the world by yourself, not necessarily in a group with other people, although you may be hiking with other people as an example, but not necessarily engaging them in that week is not necessarily for that. It's more a week where you can shine and where you can allow yourself to finally breathe after all of this energy that's come through you in the last few weeks. And then as you go on to the third week of September, you have Padma Sundari. Out of darkness, the light is born. Padma Sundari. And it's the number 17. And it's a chance to rebirth yourself. It's a chance to actually birth yourself into this world, into this moment. After all of this spiritual cleansing here and leaving the past in the past, that's taken place in the first week of September, and the empowerment that you've stepped into, the individuality that you stepped into, where you're able to step out in the world and do something that you haven't been able to do for a few weeks or months. And you're finally able to do it now in that second week of September. And as you come into the third week of September, you're feeling like you've reborn yourself, or you've rebirthed yourself rather. I'm not very articulate today. And you actually won with your spirit and your power and your energy and all of yourself. You are one with that because you've understood who you are. That remembering that's taking place here has allowed you to finally understand who you are and be that version of yourself that you want to be, and no longer lament that you cannot be that version of yourself, and that you've tried to be that version of yourself and you can't. Now, the second week here may come with some challenge, and it's kind of challenge that allows you to strengthen yourself. So that's why I keep using the word hike. It's like you're going uphill, and it's like you've got to push yourself. It requires you to push yourself just a little bit more so that you can feel how much of strength you have. So you can finally get in touch with how much of strength you have. And so that after all of that, in that third week, you're just going to feel like a brand new person, okay, to put it in other words. And as you come into the last week of September, the card couldn't be a better card. It's the card number 26. It's Amaru. And the card reads, the beautiful place. Because, I said in the option number 1, September, which had a very different energy to yours, by the way. And that's usually not the case. Usually number 2 has a bit of number 1's energy, but this time it's really, really different. Especially in timelines and how the energy will spike and reduce, etc., or how it moves outward and moves inward. It's quite different. So if you are listening to number 1, well, pick 1 or 2 or 3 this time, and don't necessarily, if you're going to, you can gain the guidance, of course, but watch how your September unfolds and see whether these resonate with you, and then you'll know. Okay, but after all of this here, you are coming to that beautiful place, and I think that it's the best card that you can have, because this is hard work, and whatever you've been going through already is hard work, and putting yourself out there and testing yourself and being able to actually push yourself to the limit to understand the extent of your strength is also hard work. And then finally realizing that you have permission to be yourself and you can be fully you, given whatever the circumstances are, is such a relief. This card is such a relief right here. And then you come into that place here at the end where you can just simply enjoy it. You can just enjoy whatever it is that you, wherever it is that you find yourself, in complete balance with water, air, fire, earth. There's just complete balance with all the elements in support of you, and a renewal of you that's just taken place, so you can finally step out and feel what it's like to be the new you. Okay, I think it's going to be a wonderful month for you, those of you who've chosen option number 2, and I wish you a blessed September. And for those of you who've chosen option number 3, we're asking, what is it that you need to know for the month of September 2025? What is it that you need to know for the month of September 2025? Okay, so for those of you who've chosen the option number 3, we have 4 cards for the month of September 2025, one for each week. And the first card we have is number 21, and it's called Dardiri. Dardiri. And the card, it reads, Hearing Truth. So I think here in the first week of September, and I think you might have felt this already in the last week as we come into the first week of September, is that it is a time for you to listen carefully to what truths are coming to you, what information you need to hear in order to elevate your life or to work through this period, what information is coming through so that to support you in this time where you will need to work through certain things. And I think here with Dardiri, you are being given that information not just from your colleagues or from YouTube videos or TikTok or from books, but rather from a divine source, perhaps directly, perhaps into your mind. And I think that, yes, you can gain this information from other places, but I think it's very much a time where you are being blessed with that information from your own soul and from the universe itself and from the guidance that you have. Okay. And it's a time for you to quieten down and listen to what's being told what's coming to you, what you need to redress, and what you may need to look at from a different point of view in order to be able to move on from it, or perhaps to leave it in the past, or perhaps simply to let it be in peace, or to finally deal with something that needs to be dealt with. Okay, now that's not going to resonate for every single one of you. However, there is something that is likely to come up in the first week of September where you will need to address it and hear it. Really hear what the truth is, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it's something that you don't want to hear. All right. Then as we come into the second week of September, we have the Ajna Durga, which is the power of good. It's number 15. And it's a card which asks you to behave with integrity and really be the best version of yourself. Now, this may sound repetitive or just some other quip that's being told to you again and again and again. But the question is, how are you able to do that? And if you are doing it already, how can you do it even more? How can you go deeper in it? Because here you've gotten the insights that you need in the first week of September, and you are able to use that to do good. Okay, you're able to be a better version of yourself, perhaps in the way in which you relate to others, or in the way you relate to yourself. Perhaps there's, you need to take better care of yourself. Maybe self-care is actually a theme for you. And this information that you're receiving here is telling you to incorporate it into your life in the second week of September in order to be able to use it. It's not going to just sit on a shelf somewhere. And I think that's an important thing as well. It's to basically say that if you happen to be somebody who likes to acquire things and think, okay, I'm going to use it then, and I'm going to use it there, and I'm going to get it now so that I can use it back down the line. I'm going to buy these books and read them later. I'm going to buy these clothes and use them later. I think this is basically saying this is an opportunity for you to use what you've been given already in the past, or maybe in this last week, and to use it now. So if you've been putting off that pottery or that painting or cleaning that cupboard or just reorganizing your bookshelf, this is also telling you that now is the time to be able to do something like that, because you'll have a new insight into what it is that you need and how it is that you need to do things. And it will be more intentional. Whatever you're doing is going to have some kind of intention behind it, and you'll need to anchor it in a way that will help you in the future. Perhaps it's just a matter of making your home more feng shui, or perhaps it has something to do with the way in which you relate to somebody else, and you've gotten some information about them, and you're able to relate to them with more empathy and compassion, and therefore when you speak to them, when you are with them, you're able to stand in your own strength and actually comfort them as well. All right. And then we have number 37, Diamond Tiger of the Black Moon. Second chances bring success. All right. So 37, Diamond Tiger of the Black Moon. Second chances bring success. And so I think here that if you wanting to, very obviously, if there's something that you haven't been able to do in the past, or you've not been successful at in the past, or you've done it, but you haven't had the desired outcome, now's a chance to redo it. Perhaps it's somewhere that you need to go to and do something differently, or perhaps it's an application that you need to do, or perhaps it's an email that you need to send off that you've been hesitating to do. So, or perhaps it's something that you just tried to learn, but you weren't able to get it right the first time. It's a great time to go and do, in the third week of September would be a great time to go and do your driver's test, or to get a license for something, or to make the application at least to do that, or the appointment to do that rather. It's also a great time to plant some seeds as far as studies are concerned, or perhaps learning something new, a new subject that you've had the idea of doing, but you haven't actually begun. So it's not just about second chances coming. Second chances bring success, but I think just generally speaking, you are going to have success. And the cards are saying, well, go to places which you've tried already and you haven't actually had success, because that's going to be your best chance to get that success. But I think it applies to any other area of your life as well. it could be something that you just had an idea that you want to study and you've never had a chance to do it. Now is your time in the third week of September to embark upon something like that. All right. And then as you come to the last week of September, we have the card here. It's called Kuntu Yachak, Blessings from the Son of Hanapacha. Okay, I might be butchering that because I'm not sure how to pronounce any of that. But the card here, it's almost like a recalibration. If you think about the downloads that you've been receiving here, and this feels like it's coming more from your soul, but here, and then you act upon that, which is amazing. And then you revisit something that needs that great energy that you have holding here from this Durga energy. And you're able to implement that in your life here in some way. Then as you come to the end of September, you have a recalibration. It's almost like all of these things are coming together and you're coming together in a way that you feel complete, wholesome, and you feel engaged, you feel knowledgeable about something, you have that wisdom that you need, you have that perspective that you need, as well as having accomplished something. So there's a feeling of having success here, and I think it's because it follows this card here. And there's a confidence that's also in this card. So as you come to the end of September, you're going to feel as if you have already accomplished something, like you have done something successfully and you can be proud of yourself. And it might just be that there's something that you've been avoiding since the June or the beginning of June or through July, etc., that you are finally able to do at the end of September. And it's going to feel fantastic when you're finally able to do it. All right. So I think that's your message for September. I just want to say that there are some eclipses in October, which will harken back to what happened in April, and that's something to keep in mind as well with all of this here. And just to keep that in mind, maybe that's something that you need to be looking back at. I'm not really getting that as such from these cards, but it might be for you that it is something that you need to look back as far as April or March is concerned and work with, so that October can be an easier month. All right. I'm going to leave you there. I wish you a very blessed September. Much success to you and many blessings to you. Blessings abound from Kismet Rising.